You are now entering. Hell in the Pod. Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Hell in the Pod, the Extreme Hardcore Wrestling Podcast. Today, I'm here with Craig Palmer from UWE. Craig, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right, man. Thanks for having me.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for being on.
Appreciate it. This is the third podcast I've done about a month now, so it's getting around.
Man's getting busy now. I'm getting in the podcast game. So,
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to start out with UWE, Upstate Wrestling Entertainment.
Yes.
Is a pro wrestling school. Give viewers the full address of this location.
1121 Glenwood Ave, Oneida, New York.
Oneida, New York. And why did
Glenwood Ave, better known as State Route 46.
State Route 46. It's right across from Taco Bell and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
we're right across from the Glenwood Shopping Plaza, right across from Denny's.
Easy to find in Oneida if you know
Yep.
Oneida.
Yep.
So, first and foremost, what made you choose Oneida to open up a wrestling school?
Well, first and foremost, if I could do a backstory on this, our first location was actually in Clark Mills.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was actually Clark Mills. I was just starting to do everything, and I had this 16-year-old kid send me a message, say, hey, are you looking for a building or whatever? Are you looking for a trainer? So I said, yes to both. So he hooked me up with the landlord that owned the building in Clark Mills.
Yep.
So that's where I first started, and our very first trainer was actually ECW legend Super Crazy.
That's awesome.
Hooked me up with that. That was pretty cool. He was maybe here about a month and a half, 2 months or whatever. Then he had to go back to Mexico and do his thing. But phenomenal guy. But yeah, that's when we started. Then actually, my current trainer actually lives out in Canastota. So he goes, oh hey, he goes, you're not gonna like the building I found because you're gonna have to travel because I live in the valley, so it takes me about 45 minutes to travel here.
Get to Oneida, right?
I was like, I really don't care. So like, yeah, I got this spot here or whatever. Like, give the guy a call, see what's what. I was okay. So and now we've been here since this is almost 3 years.
So 3 years you've been opening this location.
This location we opened in February of a little over 2 years. I'm sorry, February of 2022 we opened up in this.
February 2022, UWE was
so
born.
We opened in December of 2020 in Clark Mills, and I moved out here in the wintertime.
Okay, so December.
Yes.
2020, UWE was born and then moved over to Oneida. So Clark's Mills, no one might not know that. I didn't know that. I seen this pop up. I started seeing signs popping around. I'm like, a wrestling school. I wonder if it's like a wrestling academy or a wrestling school, professional wrestling school.
No, professional wrestling.
Which is actually what leads me to this. What made you decide? Because when I sit here and think about it, think about business and opening up a business,
yeah.
I feel like a wrestling school is one of those businesses that you just kind of have to be in it for the passion.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what it is. I'm very passionate about this. Clearly, if you viewers can see, I have a very high metabolism, so I can't wrestle. So next best thing, I was like, let me start my own school/company. And the backstory about that is I was 15 years old. My parents were going to bed one night. They're like, oh, hey, my dad's like, here's the remote. Just go watch whatever you want to watch. I flipped through. It was the night after WrestleMania 11. I've been hooked ever since.
Ever since. Do you remember the first match that you watched? Because I remember mine.
I don't remember the first match that I watched. Well, I've seen matches like back when I was younger. Like I've seen here or there with a kid. I remember, I'm not even kidding, like The Undertaker used to legitimately scare me when I was a kid.
Well, yeah.
Like the eeriness of the character. I'm just like, oh, that guy's scary.
Right, 100%.
But I don't remember my first match, but I remember the segment when I flipped over on Raw. It was Shawn Michaels yelling at Sid because he didn't win the belt the night before, and then Sid turned on him, and then Nash came out and made the save, and I was just like, yeah, I'm hooked.
How can you not be? I remember my first time watching. I actually used to have a gate on my bed because I used to fall out of bed. I don't know why at this age. I think I was about 4 years old, 4 years old.
Right.
And my brothers were sleeping over out in the living room. And then my mom used to send me to bed before SmackDown came on because obviously it was just like a thing. And my brothers always came over on Fridays, so they'd always stay up and watch SmackDown.
Stay up and watch Friday Night SmackDown. Yeah,
One
absolutely.
night, I don't know, I was just like, I want to see what's on this TV. So I broke down the gate. I went out there. The first two people I seen was Matt and Jeff Hardy with the mesh shirts on top of the ring with Lita in the middle, and I think
that was 99, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
99, 2000ish.
Yeah, he's got it right on the money, right around, because this is exactly when I'm getting into it. And
this is my stack of wrestling. This is my stack.
It's showing. But so it was them versus Edge and Christian that night. I remember that clear as day.
I remember the first tag team ladder match they had too. At the pay-per-view, No Mercy in '99. That was a hell of a
I've been actually on Peacock lately watching the old TLCs and table ladder chairs, all sorts of things.
I actually went to Actually went to WrestleMania 23 too, 2007.
That's crazy.
Dude.
What was that experience to be at WrestleMania?
Oh God, that was. I no offense to the people that took me. I wish the seats were a little bit better, but oh God, it was crazy. So the backstory on that is, I was sitting at my friend's house. We're all watching the Rumble. My buddy's like, "Oh hell yeah, we got an extra ticket. We know how much you love wrestling, so we want to take you to WrestleMania." I was like, "Get out of here!" Like, no way.
Right.
I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'm in."
Of
What
course,
what the
right?
hell? I'm like, of course." So we were gonna leave I guess we didn't go to the Hall of Fame or that, but we were gonna leave during the day Friday. I said no. I said here's the deal. I was like, you want me to go? I said that's fine. So we're gonna leave after SmackDown Friday night. We
Right.
drove.
Right.
Yeah. So we got on the road. Let's say about 11 o'clock at night. We ended up getting into Michigan 7:30 in the morning. Got to the hotel 8:30 in the morning. We just crashed for a few hours and then
Back,
'cause
right
we were
into
traveling
WrestleMania
all night
weekend.
and we ended up crashing at the hotel and we got up and then I guess we were seeing malls or whatever around and stuff like that on Saturday. And then Sunday, yeah, it was weird to actually go to a restaurant. It was it must have been I think it was a soul food restaurant because the only place I've ever gone when I asked for burgers and fries, they said we don't sell fries, we only have chips. So I was
Right.
like, okay, sure, I'll take a side of chips. It was a weird. I mean, it was
He
a
remembers
great
it all
experience.
the way down to the first thing he ate when he went to WrestleMania. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because we got food before the event, so we had because I think doors opened 4 or 5 o'clock, whatever it was at that time. And my buddy's like, "Hey, you want to go get some food?" Like, yeah, sure. We ended up going literally a little alley, with just restaurants or whatever. And we just stopped at this this place or whatever. And I was like, "Yeah, can I get a burger and fries?" We have potato chips. I'm like,
That's it, right?
"Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine."
What was the match that stuck out the most to you in that WrestleMania?
Oh, that had to be I think it was the hair versus hair match. The one when Umaga and last year, that was pretty good. I will tell you, as
Umaga.
high up as we were sitting, let me tell you, I don't care where you sit in an arena, pyro is hot. We were high up, and Taker's pyro was just shooting up, and you could feel even Batista's, you could feel that heat.
That's what what you said
was
earlier.
nuts.
What you said earlier, how Undertaker used to scare you, legitimately scare you.
Yeah.
Umaga used to scare the shit out of me.
Oh, Umaga.
Umaga.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a man of many words.
You would never known he was. The way he spoke, you didn't think he was Rikishi's brother and spoke just
No,
like you and me.
100%. Honestly,
It's crazy with these characters. You don't know
back
until you get
then,
older. It's
yeah. When
okay.
I was that young, it took me a while to realize this was a character.
Yep.
And then
yeah.
when
me
I
too.
actually got into
as
it,
I was younger, I was like, oh, these are I was like, oh, wait a minute. As I got older, I was like, oh, these are characters
yeah.
they're playing.
And then I got into it, and I realized he was Jamal from Jamal and
Yeah,
Rosie,
yep,
and,
yep, he
and
was
then it
Jamal.
started making sense. But Umaga was a great.
Yeah, 'cause that's where I
character.
recognized
Shout
him.
out to
I'm
the Fatulas, by the way.
Rest in peace, Umaga.
Rest in peace,
We
Umaga.
still live on the 2K franchise.
100%. Everyone uses him on the 2K franchise.
Yep, I
But so who you got coaching, and what's the schedule like?
Asked who's coaching. Well, the person who just came in here, he's my assistant coach, Dante Dio. The head trainer here is the SOG, Ronnie Ribbs. If you don't know who he is, he actually doesn't live too far from here. He does more the eastern. He doesn't wrestle too much in New York State. He does more the New England states, but he
Okay.
has wrestled here in New York State. And he's
What's
got
the
a program.
schedule like?
What's that?
What's the schedule like here?
It's 2 days a week.
2 days?
Tuesday and Thursday, obviously tonight being one of them. So if you hear noise in the background, it's
Here on a
training.
Tuesday, man, it gets busy.
Yeah, it gets busy. Tuesday, Thursday, 6:30 to 9. Sometimes 8. I would say 8:30, 9ish, depending on what we go over. We go over homework, and our trainer is great. He works with everybody on everything. It's on your basics, your character development, what character you want to be, stuff like that. He'll help you out with everything.
So hey,
He
I
once
mean,
told me, he's like, "Oh, you got to have a look of a great heel manager." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like,
so
Stay tuned.
You got people to coach you through and help you get where you want to get. Schedule 2 days a week, a head and an assistant coach. How does it feel to watch students grow and progress every time they step into the ring, and also start getting booked on these local cards?
"Oh, it's great." It's I started this, didn't know I was going to start during a pandemic. It was
Shout out everybody who started a business in the
Yeah.
pandemic.
I did. I didn't realize I was going to, but it was.
Sometimes
I don't know,
things fall into
for
your
me. It
lap,
felt
right?
like the right time to do it. And I know you asked me about the wrestling school. It's well, there's not really a wrestling school around here. That was the thing. I'm like, that's what's missing from this
I
area.
was gonna
the
say that,
Mohawk-
too.
The Mohawk upstate area. You have to go to Albany,
Syracuse.
Actually, from what I know, there's not even a school in Albany anymore.
Right.
So you have to go all the way out here to Syracuse or I think southern New York State to Long Island. I
Yeah.
think there's a couple out there or whatever. So we kind of almost between Syracuse and Albany, we kind of fill that void.
You definitely do.
So-
And it's definitely, like I said, Oneida. I mean, if you ever dreamed about it and you just felt like looking it up and it was too far, there's one right in Oneida. Follow
Right in
Route
Oneida,
5.
it's literally a 20-minute drive from Rome and Utica, about a
Utica.
half-hour
Hit
drive
Route
from
5 and you're
Utica,
here, man.
but it's not that far away now. I don't know, maybe in the future we might move further east. It depends. I mean, this is a pretty good facility. I've only been here 3 years. I mean, we just
It's a
opened,
big facility too.
yeah,
by
the
the way.
facility we're actually sitting at, this part here, we actually just opened up over the summer last year to make it bigger. So
Yeah, and it's definitely got some size to it. So, and speaking about, you know what I mean, the whole business of a school and whatnot.
Yes.
Do you see yourself in the future becoming a promoter or making UWE a promotion?
we're right now in the early stages of that. Like,
Okay.
as if you guys, excuse me, if you guys go on our Facebook page, you'll see we have a YouTube link. We
Okay.
just started this year, doing
Holding
closed studio,
showcases?
yeah, closed studio taping.
And that's
So that
actually
is-
my next question, anyways. That you
That
guys
is the
are holding
start of what we're
showcases.
doing. We're hoping by either later on or like in the summer or the fall to actually be able to have fans in here. So we are working on it because, to be honest with you, when I first started this, I got asked a million times, "Oh, do you have shows? Do you have shows?" I'm like, I had to tell everybody, no, we're just strictly a school. But now we're slowly, after 3 years, we're like, okay, it's time to do other things. Like, like my guys have, branched out. They've got on the local cars like Immortal, Dynasty, or whatever.
Yeah,
stuff
shout
like
out
that.
Immortal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lot of my guys have got their start at Immortal. Our previous trainer, Bin Hameen,
Shout out Ben.
trained here for about a year or so, doing his thing with his business now. So
Yep.
that's why he's not here anymore.
Shout out
so-
Ravens joint too, by the way.
Yeah, go check out Ravens Joint.
Yep.
Plug.
Get your local smoke there, okay? And
But yeah, he got my guys into Immortal, and I was sponsoring him for a while, and then like we started back up with the year, and a couple of my guys were like, "Oh, hey, I didn't know we should not at the Immortal tapings." I'm like, it's it's time that we focus
Start-
on us. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, I'm
absolutely.
starting to get the wheels turned. Like, I'm grateful for the opportunities my guys had and the exposure we got. Sponsoring Immortal every time, actually about every single show last year. We were
that's
sponsored
amazing.
for
Yeah, I
whatever.
did see that.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, shout out Mike and Immortal still giving guys like the people training at UWE some of their first matches and whatnot, like the Stomper Brothers.
Yeah, Stomper Brothers, their very first match was in front of that Rome crowd last year. It was probably the biggest crowd those guys have probably ever wrestled in front of.
That's amazing.
That was a hot crowd last April last year.
Immortal
I was-
does get crazy.
Yeah, I was just like, there's a lot of people. It was in Rome. It was at the Roma, it was the Kennedy Arena in Rome, and I was just like, well, like all my guys were like, "Oh, dude," I was like, just, I know you're gonna be nervous. It's okay. Just let it go.
Right.
Like, if you guys will go back and watch, I've actually had a couple spots where I actually got punched in the gut one time. And I get kind of like nervous about like being in front of people. So
Right.
if you ever get that feeling, just do what I do. I didn't even focus on the crowd. I just focused on what I was
What
trying
were
to
we supposed to
handle,
do?
and then just went from there and was like, boom, okay, I did what I got to do, and that was it.
Do your job,
Didn't
right?
even focus on the crowd.
Right. So let's go back to when you were younger. Who were some of your favorites to watch then, and who are some that you like to watch now locally?
My favorites, not like this is gonna sound funny, is back in the day I really wasn't like much into independent wrestling like I am now.
Right.
Like I was big time, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
like if I had to go favorites, Undertaker, of course.
Okay.
My favorite of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin, without a shadow of a
Cold.
doubt. I love that
Rattlesnake.
man.
Now, who do you like to watch locally right now?
Local, that's a good question. I'm not going to pick one person because there's a lot of great
Absolutely.
local talent. Like,
100%.
absolutely 100%. There's a lot of local talent around here.
Surprisingly, there's a lot of local
Yeah,
talent
there's a
around
lot of
here,
local
too.
talent around here. Some of them are like more based out Syracuse, Buffalo, Rochester, Albany.
Mike Skyros out in Syracuse, got to
Yep,
shout him out.
Skyros, hell of a talent.
100%.
Amazing man.
So, who has the best entrance in pro wrestling right now?
Oh, put me on the hot seat. Damn. That's a good question.
Back in my day, dude, entrances like Triple H's, like at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I would love the WrestleMania
those
entrances.
ones right
yeah.
there used to be like the go-to, but now it seems like every entrance is like over the top. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Like
Jay
like
Uso's right now
Jade is pretty good
crazy.
now. Like
Yeah.
Jade Cargill, she's got a pretty good
Yeah,
entrance.
Jade Cargill does.
Yeah,
have
she's got a
really
really good entrance.
especially from AEW transitioning to like the
Yeah.
theatrical side of things.
Yep.
Shout out Jade, dude. I really do like what she was doing. I like what she was doing in AEW too.
Yeah.
Do you have any words of wisdom to beginners or people who maybe are starting to think about training at a
Don't be
wrestling
afraid.
school? Don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid. I'm as small as I am. I wasn't afraid. I actually got in, and people ask me, "Oh, you're the owner. You actually got in there and trained?" Oh yeah, I know how to take a bump, hit the ropes, do some rolls. Yeah, just
You gotta get your elbows dirty, man.
the ring hates you, and don't be afraid to. Because our trainer likes to. I don't know. He has a habit of making people puke. It happens.
That's I mean the common
Well,
theme
he-
of
well,
like wrestling schools.
It's not only
though.
that. It's just he has military background, so he's got that. He's got like instilled in his head.
Something wrong with him. We know.
Yeah. So, like, so he's just got like that military like style of training. Like I like legit like I'll like both classes last week. Like one person each just went over in the garbage can, just let it all out.
Hey,
One
man,
guy actually
you
was
gotta do what you
for
gotta
like
do.
3 or 4 minutes straight, was like puking like like 3 minutes later. He's like, okay, I'm good. Got right
Go
back
back
in
right
the ring,
into
so
training. That's what you got to do. Don't
Don't be
soft
afraid to
out
sweat.
here.
Don't be afraid to puke, and don't be afraid to get yelled at sometimes.
Don't be
I mean,
soft.
You're not going to come in here acting like, everything's perfect. Everything's going to get critiqued. So, if you're that soft, this isn't a place. Wrestling is not for you.
Wrestling is
Now, with
not
that being
for
said,
you.
as my trainer says, and I will say, there is a million different jobs in wrestling.
Right.
Case in point, what we're holding right here, microphone. You can be a backstage interviewer.
Yep.
You can be, right there, camera.
Right,
You can be
camera
a
guy.
photographer. You can be a referee. You can be a manager.
Multiple jobs in the wrestling
production. You
industry.
can, you can do, commentary. You can do sound. There's creative. There's all that aspect.
So you don't have to be a wrestler to be in the wrestling business.
Yes, there's a million different jobs.
I'm glad he said that. Give a lane
I
to other
myself,
people.
along with the trainer, as we're doing tapings, we're wearing many hats. Like we're doing creative, we're
That's how it goes when
booking,
you
like
run
we're
into
doing
business.
creative, we're booking, we're doing this, like doing that. Like we just got a production team in our last set of tapings. Shout out to Gorilla Press Productions based out of Buffalo. They're now our new production team for the tapings going forward. They did a phenomenal job with the whole setup. Just a few weeks ago, back in April.
Yep.
So
I do remember you posting about that one. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
What's next? What does UWE have coming up that people can look forward to?
if you want to look forward to our next set of tapings, we have a seminar. Brutal Bob Evans. You do not want to miss this. This guy has been all over the place. His credentials speak for himself. He has over 300 seminars in his belt. This man's wrestled in Ring of Honor, WWF, WWE, like in both transitions. This guy's been all over. It took a while to get him up here. Shout out to my trainer Ronnie, who knows him personally. We call him Uncle Bob, or he calls him Uncle Bob, 'cause he's kind of like an uncle to everybody. But looking forward to having him come up here and do a seminar. Because he's going to be up here for our June tapings and our August tapings. So if you missed the June seminar, he's going to be up here in August to do another seminar.
So UWE also hosting seminars. Not only can you pay a monthly fee to come to classes throughout the week and the month, you can also come for seminars.
Yes, we're trying to be the school where we're hosting seminars.
That's
too. We wanna be
amazing.
like the seminar school. Like
It
every
reminds
time
me
we
of
do
like martial
tapings.
arts. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people have other martial artists come and teach
Yep.
a seminar at martial art. That's what reminds me
But
of.
yes,
coming
Brutal
in.
Bob Emmons will be here Sunday, June
And
23rd.
you had Foxy too. You had Fox.
Fox was our very first seminar. He was up here.
Shout out Fox.
Yep.
All these local critics, man. Also, let them know how.
Oh
to
yeah, Fox
follow
is a
you.
good dude. Yeah.
I like Fox. I like watching Fox too. Let them know how to follow you and UWE.
Follow me. I just have a regular Facebook page and my name, Craig Palmer. UWE is at Upstate Wrestling on Facebook. YouTube, there's just like a link there. You can search Upstate Wrestling Entertainment on YouTube. Instagram is at UWE Wrestling 40. So we're on the socials. We do have a Twitter, but I don't really use it that much. I'm more of like Facebook, but we do have an Instagram. But I'm like, Facebook's definitely where you want to follow at Upstate Wrestling. That's where we are. Like it's been building. Now we have like over 1,400 followers, which crazy as it sounds. When I started this, I didn't think we were gonna get to where we're at today. But you just keep grinding and keep
taking
going
off.
And there's the famous words of John Cena: "Never give up."
Never give up, dude. And you can't see me. Listen, I'll drop all the links in the description and the video section down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Craig,
Yes.
thanks for being a part of this, man.
You're
Hell in the
welcome.
pod. Listen, subscribe. Thanks for watching Hell in the Pod, the culturally extreme wrestling podcast.